Jai Shri Ram. This is day 6 of Valmiki Ramayana for Kids by Pranav Shankar. Yesterday we covered Rama's defeat of Viratha, Rama, Sita and Lakshmana's 10 years wandering the forest, Rama's meeting with Agastya, Rama's move to Panchavati, Shurpanaka's request and humiliation, Rama's defeat of the Rakshasa army of Khara and Dushana, Ravana's discovery of his sister's humiliation and the defeat of the army, Ravana's abduction of Sita, and Jatayu's efforts to protect her. Back in the Dandaka forest, after killing Maricha, Rama hurried towards the ashrama, where on the way he met Lakshmana running towards him. Rama was displeased with Lakshmana for having left her alone in the ashrama. As they rushed back towards the ashrama, they saw that it was empty and abandoned, confirming their fears. Rama wept bitterly and ran all over searching for Sita. He wept loud and asked even the inanimate objects like trees, flowers, stream, and the river Godavari whether they saw Sita anywhere. Lakshmana tried to calm Rama down, searching everywhere in the forest. As they proceeded further, they met Jatayu on the way. Jatayu was lying on the ground, injured all over, with his wings cut off in his fight with Ravana. Jatayu narrated his encounter with Ravana and his failure to save Sita from Ravana's hand. With tears in his eyes, Rama embraced the bird who had given up his life for Sita. Jatayu soon passed away, and Rama and Lakshmana performed the last rites on the banks of Godavari. They first visited sage Matanga. They were received with great devotion by Shabari, the disciple of sage Matanga. She had been waiting for a number of years to see Rama and honor him with her humble offerings. She brought the berries she had gathered and saved for Rama and offered them to him. Rama partook in the fruits with great love and then took leave of her. Rama and Lakshmana now proceeded towards Lake Pampa on their way to Rishyamukha hill, where Sugriva lived. Kishkinda Kanda. Rama and Lakshmana went around Pampa lake. As they were wandering around Pampa, they were noticed by Sugriva, the monkey chief, and his aides. Seeing Rama and Lakshmana, Sugriva suspected them to be allies of Vali, his brother with whom he had a quarrel for the crown, and got frightened. Hanuman, the chief of aides of Sugriva, assured Sugriva that he should not fear them. Sugriva then sent Hanuman to find out the identity of these princes. Hanuman, the son of Vayu, carried out his assignment immediately. With intelligent speech, he first introduced himself and then briefed them about Sugriva. Rama was very much pleased with the words of Hanuman. He explained to Hanuman who he was and how he reached there, and expressed his desire to befriend Sugriva. Hanuman took them to meet Sugriva. He informed Sugriva of the arrival of Rama and Lakshmana and informed him of their identity. Sugriva welcomed them affectionately. Rama embraced Sugriva and they struck a bond of friendship. Rama promised Sugriva that he would help him get rid of Vali. Sugriva in turn promised all assistance to Rama in his efforts to find Sita. Sugriva then narrated to Rama a recent occurrence in which he saw a speeding chariot in the skies, from which a woman dropped a small bundle tied up in a piece of cloth. She was calling aloud, "Hey Rama! Hey Lakshmana!" Sugriva told Rama that he had picked up the bundle and on opening it found that it consisted of some jewels. He brought them to Rama to see if they were Sita's jewels. Rama was overcome by grief at looking at the jewels and asked Lakshmana to examine them. Lakshmana identified her anklets as he had often seen them when he prostrated to Sita. Rama was grieved looking at them as he visualized the scene of Sita struggling with Ravana. Sugriva consoled him and helped him gain his composure. Rama then asked Sugriva to describe his quarrel with Vali. Sugriva began his narration. Sugriva was the younger brother of Vali, the son of Indra, king of Devas. Once Vali was engaged in a long, fierce fight with a Rakshasa, Mayavi, in a deep cave. Sugriva was guarding the mouth of the cave as instructed by Vali. Months passed and Sugriva had no indication of what was happening inside the cave. One day, Sugriva heard some loud shouts. He also saw a stream of blood flowing out from the cave. Horrified, he mistook the voices to be those of Vali and concluded that Vali had died in the fight. Anxious to protect himself from the Rakshasa, he covered the mouth of the cave with a huge boulder and returned to Kishkinda, the capital. The ministers of Vali persuaded Sugriva to become the king in place of his brother and crowned him. Later, Vali returned victorious from the fight, but was angered by Sugriva's conduct and exiled him from the kingdom. Vali had received a curse from sage Matanga, who forbade him and his allies from entering Rishyamukha hill. Sugriva therefore chose to live in Rishyamukha hill. Sugriva's voice choked as he talked about the humiliation he had suffered in the hands of Vali. Rama assured him that he would help Sugriva kill Vali very soon. Sugriva informed Rama of Vali's valor and how he had once humbled the mighty Asura Dundubhi. Seeing the doubts of Sugriva regarding Rama's ability to kill Vali, Lakshmana asked Sugriva to test Rama's strength. Sugriva, though embarrassed, wanted to be convinced about Rama's powers. He asked Rama to pierce one of the Shala trees with a single arrow. Rama released an arrow that not only pierced one, but 7 Shala trees standing in a row, as well as the land on which they stood, and returned to his quiver with lightning speed. Sugriva was amazed at Rama's feat. Jai Shri Ram.